No, it's not a bear.
You are now watching Animal Expedition Files.
Wake up with your favorite station. Online, digital, and on your smartphone.
It's time for your favorite host.
Oh wow, that was such a delay there in my ears. I think my ears just exploded of joy. I don't know about you, but I'm happy it's Wednesday. It's such a great day. No.
Don't, because Monday I thought it was Wednesday, so now today is Friday. So
I
don't.
I'm so confused now because we just had a show Monday. Now we have a show Wednesday, and then we have a show Saturday. But Saturday, I will tell you about Saturday here in a bit. But how's it going?
Good. I'm still on the fact that it's Wednesday. It feels like it's March this week, so it's only Wednesday.
Yeah.
But it feels like it should be like next month already.
I know. It's a weird year. I don't know about you, but like we've had that like weird cold front in Florida where we had like 8 inches of snow in northern Florida. It's crazy. That's why like half of Florida like freaking shut down. Kids didn't go to school and they're like, what do we do? You know, what do we do with the kids? You know, do we get rid of them or do we just keep them here? We don't know what to do.
That's
Parents
insane.
Freaked out.
Yeah.
But welcome to Animal Expedition Files. It's a Wednesday night here at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. We have an amazing guest. Donna is in the back room there chilling. Before we bring her on, we got a lot of cool stuff to tell you. I got some great news tell you here in a bit, but please follow us and subscribe on the YouTube channel. We appreciate it. Also, Squatch Juice. If you didn't hear on Monday, we are sponsored and partnered by Squatch Juice. So they're up above Jessica. Please click the QR code. And when you're purchasing, please put in AEF10. That will help you on the purchase day when you get Squatch Juice. Trust me, this stuff is amazing. When I talk, well, there it is, right there.
There it is.
This stuff is amazing. Trust me. I had it at work this morning. I usually drink like 8 cups of coffee a day. And like this stuff, I only had one big thing. Like I have a Yeti cup and freaking, I was like ready like the whole day. That never happens. But
I saw your post. I think we have the same, like you have a green one, correct?
Yeah, I have a green Yeti. Oh, yep. Mine's in the dishwasher washing because I wash that sucker every day because I use all the time at work. So
I unfortunately just rinse mine with water.
Yeah.
It's not a good way to wash your Yetis. I don't recommend it. Definitely clean them.
Yep, definitely wash them. Wash your
Definitely
Yeti.
wash them. Don't just rinse them in water like I do.
That sounded weird.
I know.
Yeti.
It's always the same drink. So you just kind of like run it under the sink and you're like installed. It's
Yeah.
clean.
No, I just throw mine in the dishwasher.
Yeah.
But don't throw the top in the dishwasher because it has that like black.
Yeah, the rubber band.
It like gets really, it wears out because of the heat. But yeah, don't do it.
Wash your Yetis, folks. Wash your Yetis.
Wash your Yeti carriages. But yeah, anyways. Hey, Cobbler Mountain, what's up? We will be actually talk about Cobbler Mountain Critter Fest. We will be there. Me and Jessica will be there. We will be speaking. Also, the Animal Expedition Files will be speaking there too, so you don't want to miss out on that. But I want to show you something. There was something in the news that popped up. There was a mermaid that got her face sucked in by a fish. Check this out.
I'm glad there was a.
The confused marine creature is trying to take a taste of a woman dressed as a mermaid. The sturgeon was caught on video nibbling the woman's head while she tried to entertain the crowd at an aquarium. Yeah, it's right, isn't it? Yeah. She quickly escaped by pushing the fish's head away. Luckily, she wasn't in the shark tank.
My goodness.
Yeah, social media users have praised the woman for her quick thinking, which didn't require
Getting it out.
sturgeon.
I don't know, but like,
That's why you don't go in the water. That's all I have to say to that.
Well, the funny thing is, I'm a scuba diver, and like, I've never had that issue. But I guess if you're a mermaid, you get your head sucked in by a fish. I don't know.
Maybe like somebody mentioned your goggles. It could have been a reflection. I know fish like shiny things, so.
Well, yeah, especially like when I'm diving, you never put on anything shiny. But the good thing about being a diver is like sharks or anything like that, they hate bubbles, so they get scared of stuff. Like every time I've been near a shark or anything, they like just swim away from you.
Yeah, I don't do water.
Yeah,
I'm like let me go out to my knees and I'll splash myself and that's it.
But let's talk about the announcement here. We got an amazing I don't know if I could get it up there, but I got another co-host on Saturday night named Jason from the Vodcast. He'll be joining me every Saturday night, 8 p.m. Eastern time, along with my co-host Jessica on Wednesday. So you don't want to miss out. I got two amazing co-hosts joining me Wednesday and Saturday night. So it's gonna be a party every Wednesday and Saturday with our amazing guests. But let's bring our guest on and let's have some fun and let's check it out. If I remember how to use this thing right here. Yeah, it's a button. What's up, Donna? How's it going?
Doing good. How are you?
Good. We're just I'm still amazed by that mermaid being her head sucked in by a fish. It's kind of funny how they just showed it like multiple times, like
I can't imagine that. I just can't imagine it. Like, oh my God.
I think the fish was doing her hairdo or something like that. Fix her hair. It was a little nappy or something. I don't know.
Hopefully that wasn't at like a kid's party at the aquarium and all the kids were like,
that would be horrible. That'd be horrible. Oh no. But how's it going, Donna? How are you doing?
Well, doing pretty good. Finally warming up here a little bit. So
yeah. Well, where are you from?
I'm in Ohio. I'm in a little small country town. Well, it's not a town. I live in the country. I don't live in a town at all. Or the little town that's close by, it has like one gas station and 35 houses. I'm in the country.
That reminds me in Tennessee. I lived in a little town up in the mountains that had like literally one gas station. And just nothing but like fields and a couple of houses, a lot of churches. There was a lot of churches, that's for sure.
Yeah. Now that we have is churches, different ones. But I'm my house, my big house set up against the woods. So when I built it, I made my bedroom like plate glass windows. I love the woods. Yeah. So I literally am a creek that runs like out back of the house.
That's awesome. Speaking about the woods, I know you're really big in Bigfoot. And I know you've had a bunch of experiences. What made you get into the whole Bigfoot? Because I love Bigfoot. I'm a big fan of Bigfoot, and I always, when I'm in the woods, I'm always trying to do some like different experiments out there and trying to see like different tactics. But every time I try to do something, it like that damn thing fools me. So, like, how'd you get
Well,
into it? Like the love of Bigfoot?
actually, my dad and my grandma. I was 6 years old the first time I saw one. My dad was he was an old time mountain man. He hunted, trapped, dug roots. That was part of our life and our living. And I was 6 and I went with him. We was digging a big patch of yellow root. They call it golden seal. I never knowed it but nothing but yellow root.
Mhm.
And we've been sitting there digging. We take like the big gunny sacks, we took those, and I wasn't doing much digging. My dad was, and I would separate it, take the roots off, and then you save the leaves and you put one in one bag. No, that's what I was doing. And we'd been there for a while, and all of a sudden, Dad, well, he was an old country boy, he wore bibs, and he chewed tobacco. He always had a plug of tobacco down in his top of his bibs, or he would take long green out of the barn. We had raised tobacco. And he got up and he walked over. There was a stump there by where we would sit, and he walked over and he laid his tobacco up on that stump. And he didn't call me Donna. He called me Dookie. He said, "Come on, Duke, we're gonna go." And of course, I'm grumbling. I don't want to go. I'm mad. It was fair time. And I wanted, that's what make money for the fair.
Yeah.
And so he reached down, got me by the hand. I said, "Come on, we're gonna go." And we're walking away. And when we're walking away, you can here I am. I'm dragging. You know how kid is. I'm dragging my feet, and he's like, and I look back, and where that stump was, right there by that stump, this huge black figure stood up, and of course I'm looking at it like, you know, scared, and honestly, because it's like 8 foot tall. I mean, to me, it looked like it's 12 foot tall because I'm 6. And he's like, "Oh, come on now, just come on," because he's just calm as a cucumber, not And so he's like, "You leave it alone, it'll leave you alone. Now, come on." And we left, and it picked that up, and of course, it was where we was digging at. There's kind of like there's cliffs there, and it just went up, just picked that up, and up through the woods, up on that through that cliff it went, and that was my first time of seeing it. And of course, with Dad, like I said, he was always in the woods. I mean, he had a job. We logged. I used to ride a mule. He would he would cut the logs, and I was the kid, so I'd ride the mule up and down the hill, and my brothers would unload. They'd unhook at the bottom, unhook the single tree, and I'd take it back up, and he'd load me back up. So I was always in the woods. So, and poor man, I feel sorry. I said, I was a terrible child. I drove him crazy, I know. But he had showed me over my lifetime. It was like a 300-acre farm where we were at. So there was a lot. I mean, we had cattle. We had the whole thing. We had 11-acre berry patch, just berries, not, our gardens were fields. They weren't gardens. They were fields. And orchards, the whole thing. But he showed me different things as I was little. The markers, you find the stacked stones, the rocks, and they're stacked into shapes or whatever. And I was like, he told me those are like markers. Don't touch them. You can never touch them. Don't bother them. And then like the tree shelter things, they look like a teepee. They'll have them. Then the X's, you'll find the X's. And I'm a dowser too. I also dowse.
Yeah.
But there's the Y's. You'll find like the sticks, and they're like the Y. Those are markers to show you whatever way. But that's how I grew up. And Dad, same thing. I took care of my dad up until he passed away. The last 2 years of his life, I never left him at all. So I got all that benefited of all his knowledge he handed down. But I'd ask him the first time he saw. My dad was born in an old cabin. There's a place here. It's called Buzzard Roost, and it's country. I mean, when I live in the country, but he lived in the woods, the sticks.
Yeah.
And the old cabin, well, the cabin burnt actually, and they took the barn, the log barn, turned it into a cabin. That in 1927, that's where Dad was born. And he said he remembered, of course, there was no such thing as inside bathroom, or they had springs or whatever for water. And he had to go to the bathroom. He must have been, I'm judging maybe 3 or 4, because he had to be little. He called his mom ma'am. He said she took him to the bathroom, and he had walked over to the edge of the yard to sit down. And he said this big shape loomed up over top of him. And of course, it scared him. And he said that she just walked over and did the same thing. She wasn't scared. It was there, and she just simply put her hand out and said, "No, baby, my baby," and picked him up and went away. It walked away. So from the like I said, these are stories that's handed down from generation to generation. My family goes back to, I have letters from the 1797 when they first came here. I'm Shawnee descent. I'm Shawnee. My grandma, through my whole family is Shawnee. And so I have some pictures, old pictures. And he told me a story about his mom. Of course, he was running with his mom, and she liked, she picked greens. And one of the things was Shawnee lettuce. It's wild lettuce and green onions. I don't know if you know the wild green onions. Yep. You can just go out in the hills and get them. Yeah. And he said on this day, there's a place where she'd go and gather that. And evidently, we don't call them Bigfoot. We call them the Watchers. That's all. There's a whole legend of the Watchers. And but she went to get those that day, her lettuce and onions. And I guess he liked to eat them too, because he was sitting on the other side. And Dad said they just shared the patch. He didn't. She's picking stuff, and it's sitting there eating. Wow. And so I've seen him quite a few times. And then when my dad got sick, he was 81. I moved my mom first because she got sick first, and he promised me. I put a trailer in my front yard. It's like, you take Mom over, and then I'll come over. Yeah. Yeah. 4 years later, when I carried him out of the farmhouse. Wow. But within a month of my dad being here, like I said, my bedroom in my house, my big house, it was all plate glass. And I have big windows. I didn't need an air conditioner. I would leave the windows up. I have a creek that goes right past it. And of course, I'm in the woods. I'm under the trees. And then I had the old time door with the old time screen door, not a storm door, but actual screen. And they have this little latch, that's the only lock there is. And it was like, starting at 3. The first night I smelled the really terrible smell. It was like, first I woke up, I thought the sewage blew up. I was like, oh my God. It was terrible. A combination of rotten earth and urine, and that was my first idea. Yeah. But it was not pleasant.
No, not.
Yeah, they get pretty stinky. On the third night, I actually saw the shape. It was at the corner of the one big window. I saw, and then again, I don't know. I grew up seeing them, but I was just not registering, I guess. And I'm thinking it's a bear. There's a bear out there. So I did close my door that night. The next night, it was the fourth night, I went down. I would go at midnight, put Dad to bed, and I carry a gun. I've always carried a gun. I grew up with a gun. I always have. I hunted just like my brothers. I hunted. I used to ride bulls. I did a little bit of everything. But on that night, I got about halfway between my house and Dad's, and that smell hit me really hard. And I turned around and looked, and I had a great big huge cedar tree. I had a big spring there under a cedar tree. And I saw that dark shape. And of course, I always thought, you don't run. That's thing was part of my training was you don't control your fear and you don't run,
Yeah.
And so I got up in the house and Dad's like, "What the world's wrong with you? Are you crazy?" And I said, I'm still in my mind. I said, "There's a bear out there."
Oh,
A
wow.
bear. And he said, "Well, show me." So I helped him over to the door and he said the same line to me. He's like, "You leave him alone, he'll leave you alone. He ain't doing nothing but watching." And he did. He would come there and stand and I put Dad to bed. That went on and I never had any kind of violence, or anything like that ever through my lifetime. It was always pretty calm. I mean, you hear screams. I've heard those, but that night I put Dad to bed. It was like 3 o'clock in the morning,
Yeah.
and it woke me up. I'm hearing these. It was like you hear an elephant trumpeting and growls, and it vibrated the house. That's the sound was so intense that
Yeah.
and again, well, like I said, I'm a widow. I lost my husband and youngest son, so I've been going out in the woods with a gun of my whole life, or it doesn't bother me to go outside. I'll pick up a shotgun. I keep one sitting at the door. I'll pick up a shotgun or a pistol, whatever. And that night, here I go. I get to the door, and I'm in my nightgown, barefooted, the whole deal. And I'm going out to see what this screaming is.
Yeah.
That's just me. I'm crazy. And I got halfway out, and I get down. You have to go across the bridge. I have the creek, and I have a bridge you have to go over. And I had when I moved Dad, he had a pig left. Of course, now she's a big full-grown sow. She's like 400-pound hog. And that's where her pen was, closer down there. And I got to there, and it's just screaming. It's just like it's tearing up Jack. It's just ripping. And I'm standing there, and then I realize I'm like, you're stupid. You don't even have a gun with you. I didn't take a gun. And I knows you're outside. You dumbass. Get your ass in the house. And so I did, but to this day, I don't know if it was the same one that came every time because I never had any violence.
Yep.
This one, it went through that hog pen. Now you can imagine this is 400-pound hog. Now when she stood up, she way taller than I am, and she would come up on
Yeah.
hind legs.
Wow.
Where if you know anything about hogs, and of course the hog pen is muddy. It went over and it stepped down. It made 2 steps into the mud. And I actually had the cast because I got them. They were 18 inches long. That's how
Wow.
they were like, and they were,
Uh,
yeah, it was this way is like 18 inches and over 9 this way. It's
man,
huge.
that's a daddy
And
bit there.
Yeah.
That's big
he,
daddy.
he was pissed and he went through the creek, and then I had a chicken coop down to the bottom. I have another
Yeah.
house down there, and he didn't kill the chickens, but he busted through it like just punched it, just blew it apart. There's chickens flying everywhere, and it just smashed it. But Dad had when I moved him over, he had a bull mass and a pit bull mix. So he's a big dog, old Jake, and he was old though. I mean, he was really old. But I went back in the house, and I was standing at the door, and I heard him scream. Well, I have a British Enfield 303, the old Army rifle. It's 1917, and I have armor piercing. I do.
Awesome gun
You
right
almost-
there.
But
That's-
I picked it up and I pushed the door open, and it was like something physically stopped me. It was like something, it's like, no, you can't go. No, and I closed the door back up, and I was like, I'm going to let it go. And but he traveled down. Like I said, I'm in the country, so I got country road. But you going down the road, maybe about 4 miles. There was an old lady where you came out on the highway. She lived there by herself, and it passed her house, went dead. She had little dogs, and of course it's screaming. You could hear that scream.
Wow.
Just oh my God. She
yeah.
calls cops. Now our cops are slow. I mean, I'm not getting into the discussion about our cops because my daughter's actually a cop, or my granddaughter, and they don't get here. I'm in the country. You better be able to where I live.
Yeah.
You
Defend
better,
yourself.
yeah,
Oh.
you better
Yeah.
hear whatever's happening because they're gonna be a while.
Yeah.
And he came out and he's like, "Oh, you heard a coyote?" And I was like, I've been in the country my whole life, ain't no coyote." But I didn't want him really nosing around, so
Yeah.
but it went. It's 348 is the road. It traveled all the way up, and one up farther, about 6 miles from where her house is my daughter. She lives back a holler too. She's the very last house on that, and there's a big giant woods back in there, and all the way up through there. I mean, he attacked dogs all the way up through there. I mean, everybody's telling about my dogs. This happened, and that's where he ended up. But the next night, I can't say that it wasn't the one that came and did that, but he was back and he was calm. So there was no whatever happened. I think maybe it was a different one. I don't know. Maybe
Mhm.
something upset it. They were fighting. Whatever happened, but that was not. There's good and bad and everything, and I think he was really pissed that night. So
Yeah. He could have been trying to maybe fight off. Maybe another one was coming in the area territorially
yeah,
wise, and he was trying to prove this is his area type of situation. You're
yeah,
causing a ruckus for that. You know.
yeah. Well, there was like I said, I live in the country, and there was other people that it happened to.
Mhm.
Had other places had a. If you go on down into Blue Creek, there was a family down there, and they had German Shepherds, and that's what they said. They actually bust through the glass doors, busted through,
Wow.
and ran in and literally ran over and peed herself. Um,
Wow.
so yeah,
Yeah.
Dude, I mean, if I saw something that big, I'd be like, I'd be actually no, wait. I'll take that back. I'd be jumping on his back, honestly.
Well, you got a picture. These poor dogs. They
Yeah.
don't know what to think.
uh,
Out of
I
here.
I found Jake. He lived, but through his hindquarters and his private parts, the bites were so mad. It's like it almost just
Wow.
like bit him in two.
Yeah.
I didn't think he would. Well, he didn't live up. I mean, he was old anyway, but
Yeah.
I did get him healed up enough that he didn't
Wow.
do anything from then on. But at least
Wow.
it was. But the little dogs, that was a that was a
Yeah.
different situation.
Mm-mm.
It's not
That was a little snack for him,
yeah.
unfortunately. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But over my lifetime, I've had a few experiences. Last year, there's a group that comes here. It's the Night Stalkers, and I will do guide for them sometimes or different stuff. And I actually got hit. I have a big greenhouse. My big house burned, so I'm down closer to the road now. And I
Yeah.
moved out, mom and dad, and getting to squads. It's hard to get a squad in, so I just put in a smaller house down by the road. But my greenhouse, I put it up against the woods, and on that night they had been out, and then they they will come. It's fairly close because I'm have haulers as I have big cliffs and haulers and that kind of stuff. So
I
the
miss
one he had asked me, he's like, "Why don't you walk out back here?" Because I have a chicken farm, so I have my barns, and he's like, "See if you can hear." They will do some calls, and I'd come home from work, so I had a skirt on, tennis shoes, again, stupid, and it's like I had the phone in my hand. I have gun hid in the barn. I have different places where I keep different guns.
I gotta tell you.
I walk all the way back. I get back to the greenhouse. So now I'm in pitch. It's like 12 o'clock at night, so it's pitch black.
Man.
I hear it's like they're fighting or screaming. I don't know if the audio came through for you or not, but I tried to send it. I don't know if it did. But the red igloo coolers, the little ones with the like the little tiny one. It comes. I had the tiller and everything else where we was working. But it comes flying out through and it hit me. It got me on the hip and I went down. I mean, it's just like I'm down. And actually, I think I peed my pants. If you want to know the truth, it was. I'm thinking, what the heck am I going to do? How am I? What am I going to do? And it's coming through the woods, and you can hear the trees. And before it came out into the opening, there was a second one that came from the side, and they got. Well, I don't know if you call it fighting because the one was small and the other one was big. Was huge. He's huge. And that was my chance to get the heck out of there. And I got back to the barn and I pumped shotgun in there. And I reached in and I pulled it out. And I was like, you crazier than hell. Get to the house. But we have a lot of cave systems here. And we have a lot of logging going on right now too. So we've got some woods that's 200 years old. It hasn't been touched, and they're in there logging them out. So
Oh wow! So it's kind of moving whatever's in there kind of further and further out. Yeah,
they're pushing them out into the opening more. Yeah.
I just downloaded that video you sent me of the sounds. You okay if we share it?
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, let's check this out. See if you hear anything. What the hell?
You are a brave woman. Let me tell you that right now, because
that is nuts. That is good video.
To stand there and record that instead of tucking tail. My goodness.
I have trail cameras, and I pick up. I had recordings all the way back to like the little cassettes, the old time. I lost some of those in the fire. I had those in there, but I've been getting sounds for a long time, and I've been that night. Honestly, when I say I peed my pants, I ain't lying. I
can imagine. I almost just did listening to it, so I can imagine being there.
That was the calm one. I was trying to. I have to try. I'm not very mechanical, so I transferred it to my phone. Then from the phone, I have a recorder, but I was having to go from because I couldn't get it to send off the one phone, so I had to transfer it to one phone. It's a little butchered up.
I know it's annoying.
I have one that absolutely anybody that's heard it is like it's terrifying.
Yeah.
I want to play it one more time for the folks that are listening to this. Like, if before we go to commercial, like, you got to hear this real quick, because that, like, I was like, I don't hear anything at first, and all of a sudden, like,
I was listening. I'm like, it can't be the screaming, right?
Just shout myself, like,
walking in the beginning. That's walking. It's like I have one where they walk in the gravel up to the greenhouse. It is the mesh. And I will go up there and sit, and one night it comes out and it goes, the hand, it never pushed in, it never made a sound, but I heard the crunch, and then this across the screen, and I was sitting in the middle, and I never made a sound. But,
that's crazy.
Let's check this out real quick, because like I said, if you guys hear this, it will make your that's all I gotta say. But check
it'll
this
make you. Yep.
It'll make you. Trust me, it'll make you crap yourself. Maybe, it'll grow hair on your chest too. But check this out. That's freaking nuts.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's nuts.
It's not as like I said, where I transferred it, you can hear, but that where that's at, like I said, there is buckets and rocks, that cooler, and up in there's like 5-gallon buckets setting up in the edge of the woods and stuff where it's a greenhouse. It was full of potatoes, but it was just kind of like you could hear. That's not all of it, but it's like you can hear the trees snap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Can I? Oh, sorry. Good.
Oh, no, you're good. But let's go to commercial here real quick. We're gonna play that again later, but for this commercial,
We're gonna play it a bunch.
We're
I
gonna play
think.
it a lot because like every time I like hear that, it just makes me jump because if I heard that, I'd be like, "Where's my gun?"
My gun was in the board. That honestly, I have a 12 gauge pump and it's loaded with double.
Yeah, but listen, I wouldn't even think that a gun would do anything after I heard that voice.
No,
I don't think that would stop it.
I'd be like burying my own hole like right there, 6 feet under, like literally.
But I managed to get up and like I said, I'm in a skirt.
Yeah.
So I'm in a skirt and I did have tennis shoes on. Thank God I changed my shoes. I had tennis shoes on, but oh my God.
But yeah, we'll be right back, folks. Yeah, if you heard that, we're gonna play it again here real soon. But Donna Copa, thank you so much here. But we're gonna go on a quick break and we're gonna talk more Bigfoot and hear more of that audio because it blew me away. So check this out.
Deep in the forest, what do I see? Well, it's a shadow behind that tree. Yeah, it's Sasquatch. No, it's not a bear.
There you go, everybody. That's Squatch Juice. Check it out. Click the QR code, and when you're purchasing, please press that code AEF10. But Donna, man, that audio, I was just thinking and like wrapping around my head that's crazy.
Yeah,
that's nuts. But yeah, we're gonna share that clip here in a minute. But yeah, I actually got to tell you a story about talking about shotguns and barns and stuff like that. When I lived in Tennessee, I was doing a job, and I'll never forget. I was going into this barn area, and there was a freaking snake on the Raptors area, and I was like, and it was a big ass snake too. This was like a freaking, I think it was a rattlesnake or something like that. He was like ready to attack. So I'm like, I told the customer, I'm like, well, there's a snake in here, so I can't finish the job. He's like, oh, give me 5 minutes. So he told me to go to the front of the house, and all of a sudden I hear gunshots go off. I'm like, what the hell is going on?
Wow.
Nowhere to lie. Like, and then he's like, okay, it's taken care of. I go in the back there's like bullet holes through his shed and all that stuff. Like he was freaking like on a rampage of the snake, and he comes out with it holding it. He's like, I got him. It was like in pieces. What a 12 gauge shotgun. I was like,
yeah, he's like, you're finishing this job. I'm getting this snake right now. Don't worry about it.
I was like, well, I guess that's one way.
Guess it's gone. Donna, I wanted to ask, I know you said when you were younger, you mentioned that your dad had called it the Watchers.
Yeah. It's a watch.
When did you kind of correlate that with, oh wait, I have a Bigfoot?
Well, you know, when I was growing up, I never thought about it. It was only after I got older, and because I never, we didn't have a TV. My entertainment was reading books. My grandma telling me stories. The older people.
Yeah.
I love. I grew up. I like the old people. I love their stories. And like
Yeah.
I said, I'm a dowser, so I am Shawnee, and we have in this area, which is part of my family. There, I have a little bit of a wild family, and so I never, people was talking, and because the way I've been taught is the Watchers is part of us.
Hmm.
We're part of them; they're part of us. There's an old Shawnee legend um, that's handed down to me about. Um, in the beginning, this is not my story. This is a story that's told to me. In the beginning, the Moonite people came and they had children with the people, the Shawnee, and they left the Watchers as the children's protectors. This is this is old history. I don't tell a lot. I can tell so much of it. I got permission. I have elders that I still have to answer to.
Yeah.
Give me permission for so much. And this would have been in mid 1800s. I have the story. I wrote the story that was told to me. I actually wrote it in the mid 1800s. Um, the Watchers, like I said, there's good and bad. We have elaborate cave systems here, and
Yeah.
the bad ones. They said the way it was explained was like the shaman, the medicine man. Some of them were doing bad things. They liked the power. They liked the prestige. So they were using the Watchers for their own gain or whatever. And of course, they turned bad. So they were coming and they were like stealing the women, the children. They were doing all this bad stuff. So there was a group got together that had to, it's a ceremonial type thing, um, to drive the bad ones away. Because there's the good ones and then there's the bad ones. So, like I said, this was the mid 1800s. Um, I can't go into a whole lot of that, but they did this ceremony. The women warriors, they're that's where the Watchers Maidens comes from. That's my group. I use that as part of my group name. And they were fierce women warriors. Believe me, you did not want them to get a hold of you. You better pray the men find you before they. No. But there's always three. There's three that works together for the ceremonial type thing, and that's where my name come from. My name is Wabi Ayapia Tamponia. I'm the White Wolf Woman, and the ones that they are of the wolves. They walk with the wolves. The others walk with the panther. They use the panther, and this all got put together to drive the evil ones back in away. And the dog man, there's actually a dog man story actually goes in with that part too. That the medicine men created them to help fight the bad Watchers. Uh,
Yeah.
so, but moving forward again, that's part of my heritage. So as the Watchers, um, you know, Dad was very strict. Just because they're not playthings, they're not,
Yeah.
they're not. They're always be smart. Don't be stupid. You don't. You leave them alone, they'll leave you alone.
Yeah.
Don't
Yeah.
push your luck. You don't go out there and say, "Oh, I love you. I'm gonna huggy." That ain't gonna work. That's not part of it.
No.
Um, but I have over my lifetime, I figured out that how I communicate with them because I can. I have what I call my group. I have a group here that I consider mine. And just like I talk to you for a few times, I can pick your voice out of a crowd. Like if you're talking, I'll know who you are, or you'll know who I am.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with mine. When mine are close by, I sense them. They sense me. I know like their howls or whatever. I know them. and I know when there's a stranger that's in the community. I know the difference.
Yeah.
So, that was part of the thing that was taught was control your fear. You use it mental. I do it mentally. I have been hit. I've been zapped where
Wow.
like you pull a plug, um, and sometimes it can be really hard. If I've had we had a group thing that last summer, and there was 8 of them, and they were very, very strong, and they were agitated. They were agitated at some of the group, and it was just a reason. But anyway, by the next day, because it drains me so bad, it's like you got all this emotion inside, and I have to control it. I know it sounds crazy, but the next day I was a mess. I was just
Yeah.
drain all that emotion that I held. It exploded the next wet day. A couple people, a person was the one that got the blood of it. It if you I've been raised with them.
Yeah.
When I was 6, I was a terrible child. I hated school. I did not be pinned in. So I told my dad, I'm 6. I'm telling my dad, if you buy me a pony, I'll go to school.
Yeah.
Poor dad, he buys me this little white pony. I had real long black hair. My hair hung way below my waist. And my grandma, she would braid it up, and she was always chasing me. But he bought me the pony. But then the thing of it was, I'd come out my bedroom door in my underwear, hair flying, her chasing me, hit the barn, the pony, no bridle, no saddle, grabbed the mane, and I was gone.
Wow.
So that's how I grew up. I was a wild child. I was. I think about it. I was like, oh my God, how could I have been that terrible to my grandma? Like that? Oh, it's terrible I hated school so bad. Yeah.
Man.
So I spent a lot of time in the woods. So
Yeah. Do you think that they kind of respect that of you, that you are more like you're respectful of them, you're more of comfortable in the woods, you're not chasing after them,
I
so they respect your property and your
right.
your
They
area too.
they protect me. They
Yeah.
you know, that's how I look at them. I view them as part of my family, and I'm part of theirs.
Yep.
But again, I stress this fact way, don't think that they're just, they're not a kitty cat to play with,
Yep.
not something like that.
Dang
Um,
it.
yeah,
Yeah, it's definitely still a wild animal in a
Yeah.
sense. So you can't just go out there and start feeding it an apple. Like I
I
feel
know.
like it's
I
dangerous.
it I've had quite a few experiences. I was where I grew up at, like I said, this 300-acre farm, and
Yeah.
there's a little creek with a little waterfalls, and I would take a book and go down there and lay in that waterfalls. I was like 12, and all that hair, my grandma couldn't keep it up. I'd lay down, and how my hair is fanning out in the water. She would tear these rags and wrap it up and braid my hair.
Yep.
And as soon as I was away, they're out. So I laid them up on the rock because I knew if I come back without him, I'm going to get the switch. Let me say.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
on that day, I've been laying there for a while, and I looked over and they're gone. And I'm thinking, oh, crap, I'm going to get it.
Yep.
And, but I seen them moving up through the trees. I'm like, see like these they're bright colors. And that's one of them had taken them, and he was moving. He was little. It was like a juvenile, and he was moving up through those trees. Well, nothing's keeping me out of the woods. So I go back the next day, but where he took my ribbons from, or my rags, whatever, he had left me shells
Oh
and
wow.
and an arrow straightener. I don't
Yeah.
like a Shawnee artifact,
Yeah.
and it's just a rock with a hole in it, and you use that when you're doing. My son is a napper; he does that, but it's laying there. So I guess we traded.
Oh, that's awesome.
It was like I said, over my lifetime, I've had
Wow.
never that night of the screaming and the dog
Yeah.
attack, and getting hit with the cooler. But I honestly don't think he meant to hit me. I think
No.
he was mad because they were putting off those calls.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
like, there's another group here, and they're already being pushed out of their
Exactly.
That woods. I mean, it's called the Valley of the Dead. That's what the woods this place is
Wow.
called. And there's burial mounds in there. The Shawnee barrels are in there. There's not just them in there. There's all kind of spirits. There's nothing to be walked up there and see giant orbs coming at you.
And
In the summer, they dozed in a road where they're dozing, where they're logging. And me and her, we will go in ahead sometimes to scout out, where they can drive or whatever. When we come around and there's a little pile of dirt. And just as we come around the corner, because we're looking, there's all kind of stuff. There's all kind of stones on top of the ground where they just scooped them out. And she's going crazy. She's picking them up. And I look and I go, there is and she goes, child. And she finished my sentence. And there's this kid, it's like maybe 6 or 7 years old. And then poof, it's gone.
Oh wow.
that's nuts.
Yeah.
Oh, and well, I want to play that video one more time because we have
Ah,
a couple of minutes before we go. But I gotta play that one more time because that's a cool video. Check this out if you haven't heard it before. It will give you chills.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I'm gonna give it. If Jay's like watching right now, my other co-host, it sounds like two people are like playing D&D in there. Maybe D&D Dungeons and Dragons, and maybe he was pissed off he lost or something.
that was some real life Dungeons and Dragons.
That was like real life stuff.
That was not tabletop.
Well, you can hear those. Well, of course, there's like crickets and stuff in the, because there's a creek. Actually, I took last summer, I got footprints, or I cast them. One is 15 inches long and it's about 6 inches wide. And the other one's a little over 12 and maybe 5. The one only has 3, and it has 4 toes. Like it's something's happened, but where that is, I mean, you hear all that extra. That's what it is. It's like stomping through the all of my. Well, we just put the greenhouse in, and all this crap is laying there where we moved all the stuff, and so it's there was some lawn chairs. It was he wasn't happy. I don't think. But
No, he doesn't sound it.
No, crazy stuff. Oh, thank you, Donna, so much. I'm telling you, we gotta expand these shows because like
1 hour goes by too fast.
I know, it's so fun. I love when shows go like that. It just there's so much going on, and thank you so much. We gotta have you back on here soon and try to figure out. I know the schedule's been so crazy, and finally get to have you on and be able to share your stories, and especially that amazing. I'm sure you, like you said, you have more, and I can't wait to hear them. And
I have a dog man story from this last summer. So
Oh, definitely.
yeah,
Yeah.
and I've never seen one of them before, and I'm not sure that's what to do now, but
yeah.
I'm not sure. I'm not going to elaborate and say for sure that's what it was, but it was different.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm excited for that story.
That's awesome. Well, before we go, Jessica, do you have anything you want to say to Miss Donna?
Oh, I have a ton, but I'll save it for next time. No, I just wanted to ask her honestly before we do go, like,
Yeah.
does she have any, not advice, but any words for people that are like squatching in the sense, like what respectfully wise of how to handle themselves when they're out there?
Well, again, just like Dad said, you leave them alone, they'll leave you alone.
Yep.
And of course, people's going to look or whatever.
Yeah.
The calmer you stay, because they pick up on your agitation and your fear, and then that agitates them, and they do get violent.
Yeah.
People has been hurt. We've had issues here where things has happened.
Yeah.
You always want to be very cautious and
Yeah.
keep your brains about you. And if never go alone. I mean, I say that I go up to my greenhouse alone, but I have a cot up there. I play like flute music and drumming, but I do not do anything to challenge. That
Yeah.
I do not do. If anything, if I'm feeling really, I'll drop to my knees and put my head down. I am submissive. I'm not going to fight. No, anything I will even consider would be my big rifle. And honestly, it wouldn't do anything.
It wouldn't do anything. Yeah, that's how I feel. Like it's more the respect than the aggression that they're looking for, I think.
Yep.
It's I think
Yeah.
you're going to see more with all of the woods being taken down. I have
Mhm.
bobcats coming into my barn and that don't run.
Yeah.
So everything's changing and moving.
Yeah.
And they're yes, they are there. I mean, everybody can anybody can believe what they want to. I'm not going to argue about it.
Yeah.
But if you're a non-believer and someone steps out in front of you, you're going to poop in your pants.
You become a believer really quick.
Yeah, especially in that voice. Yeah, that sound.
Yeah.
But man, this was amazing. Thank you so much, Donna, for coming on. But we'll definitely both of us stay in contact with you. Thank you, everybody, so much for listening to Animal Expedition Files on Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. This coming Saturday will be another great show, so you don't want to miss out. 8 p.m. Eastern Time with hopefully Jason will be there, but we'll find out. So we'll find out Saturday. So it'll be fun. No, we're gonna have a good time. But thank you so much again. Everybody have a good night and stay safe and stay safe in those woods there because Bigfoot, he's out there.
Oh yeah.
Well, thank you guys. We'll talk to you for a couple of minutes behind once we go off from our live, and we'll chat for like a minute or two, and then we'll go our merry way in a land far, far away. I just did that. So
Very nice. Very nice.
y'all have a good night and stay safe, people. Bye.
Lights on. Dark Realm TV. Coming soon.